Desperation brings about stupid ass statements. And we're going to talk about that today on this short podcast. Senator Marianne WIlliamson from the state of California has also put herself in the race 2020 in the presidential election. And to get some steam behind her ship, she goes out and says that if she is president, she will give $100 billion in reparations to descendants of slaves, particularly the African American population. And she's also going to use her career as a spiritualist because America is at a dysfunction in morale, which I find funny because after all, she's a fucking Democrat. So, I mean, how can you be a Democrat and talk about dysfunctional morale and spirituality? There's no other group more lower than that. But I'm going to get back to the topic. I don't want to go ahead and veer off. This is another ploy that the liberals have come up with to keep blacks loyal to the Democratic Party. Similar to what Clinton did in 92. Let me go back to the 92 election to talk about this before I get back to Marianne. Clinton was running against incumbent President George Bush and some rich tycoon out of Texas by the name of Ross Perot. And Clinton in the first term was promising African Americans all of these things. Work programs, all types of things. He had a lot of blacks in the cabinets, all type of shit that he was going to give African Americans for his vote. When he got into office, though, we see he did just the opposite. Instead of building those work programs, he put more police on the street, built more jails. And what we got for 8 years of Bill Clinton being in office was more black people, more blacks in jails. Black men couldn't even get into college because of the drug laws. Worse in history under Clinton. Now Democrats are looking for African American stupidity as they go back into the same playbook, running the same play out of a different formation. Shout to David Carroll. And then to garner the votes of African Americans, because they know that we are very displeased with what Democrats have given us 50 years, they say we're going to give you blacks $100 million in reparations. But they never thought about asking this one question. And I want you to ask me, what is that question? I'm glad you asked that. Who do you consider to be an African American? Because, see, that's where the problem is going to lie. Shout out to Anthony Brian Logan because I want to take something out of his book. 44 million African Americans are in the country right now. But who can claim state to be an African American? The Nigerians can do that. The Caribbean immigrants can do so. Just like they can claim stake to affirmative action. So what's going to happen if you do give $100 billion to us? Because you already count them as part of our people. You then going to have white folks who have 1% of blood talking about, I'm African American. So the $100 billion that you say you would give us, you're not telling us who is eligible to get it. Because why? They feel that we are too dumb to ask such a question. If you were to get it and she were to get president, we wouldn't get most of it. Every other group that will be claiming African American would be getting it. White people, Hispanics, all of that would even go out of our community. That's the first problem. And Marianne WIlliamson, if you do watch this video, which I doubt that you will, but see, the reason why I don't like Democrats and why I got more respect for Republicans And see, you're trying to throw money at a situation that you have fucked up. I blame not only black people themselves, because we got to take accountability for the demise of our own communities, because we were also complicit in a lot of things. But mainly, I got to blame Democrats, white Democrats. I'll get on to the conservatives later because they're also to blame, but I got to deal with white Democrats and liberal Democrats and black Democrats who were complicit. Why? Because for 50 years, you broke down the black family with policies and other things. Even when blacks were poor, we had a better family structure. So you took that away from us. Now what you want to do is act like black America has a money problem. See, and that's being disingenuous because black America don't have a money problem. Black America has a family problem. And the mis-spiritualist is trying to come in and not talk about all of the damage the Democrats have done to black families. And you are not preaching family first. You are not preaching putting the man back in the home and getting the man and the black woman back together and raising kids and raising families. And to be fair, Republicans are saying that. Republicans are saying you need to own your own businesses. You need to own your own communities. You need to run your own shit. You need to get off your ass and do that. They might not like the message, but that is what Republicans are saying. And you are trying to throw money at a problem that money cannot solve. If it was $1 trillion, you can't throw it at the search situation. Because why? We have 81% of black children being born without a goddamn father. And we have black children going backwards. Black families going backwards. And you cannot sign a check that does that. That is why that black people, if you listen to this, if you vote for it, you would never get the money. Everybody else is going to claim African-American descent. You're going to have Africans doing that. The same Africans, some of them that don't like you, wouldn't fuck with you in the first place. Dominicans doing it. Puerto Ricans doing it. Everybody's going to lay claim to everything that you built like other immigrants do already. Whatever you do and get started in America, here these immigrants come, some of them, not all of them though, but some of them, they come in and they lay claim to what you've done. Go to black colleges, HBCUs. Schools that should be set up for your children and your grandchildren are being dominated by black immigrants and other folks, while they don't put nothing back in the goddamn pot. That's number one. And number two, we don't have a money problem. We have a lack of staying together problem, and we got a lack of family problems. Something that money cannot solve. And furthermore, let me tell you something that I got to give some white conservatives some respect on. Reparations is a bad idea for black America for the reasons that I just mentioned. Not to say that we don't deserve it. But what people need to be telling black folks is you need to go out there and build it yourself. You got to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, we know that white people have played a role in certain situations. I'm not saying that. But African Americans have to get the mindset that as a community, we have to bring forth the stuff that we want to see. Nothing needs to be given to us. And now I know our ancestors have worked for it. But what I'm saying is this. Right now, we don't have a culture of supporting businesses. Right now, we don't have a family culture. Right now, we don't have any of that. So all of the money that we would get, what community does it stay in? We would just give it right back. Why? The culture, our African-American culture, has been tarnished. And furthermore, white people ain't trying to hear that America needs to give blacks $100 billion in reparations. No white person's going to say that. But let me tell you right now, in America right now, with a $1.4 trillion spending power, African Americans are more than capable of starting where they are right now and doing what they need to do. And we don't have a money issue. The issue is a family issue. It's a community issue. And the issue that, let me tell you this, black folks need to solve. And y'all not going to like what I got to say, but I got to tell you this. We need to not allow white people to give us shit. As much as I know that sounds crazy. Because if they give that money to you, which they do owe us, then it's going to be some fuckery involved in it. Especially coming from Democrats. We need to be our own reparations. Got to start giving black people a chance. We can start small and we got to work through it, because what's going to happen is if you fall for the okie doke, they're not going to give you $100 billion in reparations and not expect nothing back. Somebody got to pay for that. And you still going to have the problems. You still going to have the black on black crime. You still going to have underperforming schools, because you can have all them schools looking brand new and you sending them badass kids out there with no daddy. They're still going to be underperforming. And they know this, and they do it because they think black people are fucking stupid. That's why they do it. They don't think we're going to ask who going to get the money. Because everybody in America is going to all of a sudden be African American now. White people, orange people, everybody. And so, we got to start being aware of these scams. And the Democrats right now are just doing anything to keep the black vote. Just how desperate they are, because they know that black men are leaving the Democratic Party, going to Republicans. They know that some black women getting tired. And if the Democrats even lose 10% of the black vote, they will never get another Democratic president in this country again. They know that. So now they're just doing any kind of desperate things. Where was candidates talking about that in the beginning? See, the reparation argument for Democrats, if they really wanted to do well about blacks, they would have been gave it to us. They had 50 years to do it. Why you want to do it now? You want to do it now because you know your time is up. So I'm just saying this. I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. I think it's a whole bunch of bullshit going on here. But guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for staying on here. Shout yourself out if you're new. What do you think? Subscribe, hit the bell. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.